Hello, hi, welcome back. I'm very excited for today's video. I don't know, I'm gonna get very upset. I feel like I'm gonna get very upset. I will be the first person to say that everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Everybody can have their own opinion. Mind your own business, like let people just like what they like and move on. But that doesn't change the fact that when somebody disagrees with my opinion, I get a little bit upset. When I read a book and I don't like it, and I go on Goodreads to give it like 1 or 2 stars, as I'm doing that, I usually like to read a few other 1 or 2 star reviews because I think they're funny. And I mean, they're just shitting on the book that I just read and hated. But today I'm going to be looking at 1-star reviews or like negative reviews of my favorite books just because I think it will be fun to just get mad at these people for not agreeing with me and not liking my favorite books because I know I'm not gonna like it, and also because I think it's important to humble oneself. So, okay, I'm going to do this in order of like my least favorite book to my most favorite book ever, so like leaving the best for last, I guess. Also, disclaimer, I will not be blocking out the names of the people that wrote these reviews just because this is the internet, and if you really want to, you would be able to go find the review anyway, regardless if I block their name out or not. So like, whatever. If you put it on the internet, I mean, people are gonna find it. So I have my own opinions. These people have their own opinions. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean these people no harm. So yes. So the first book we're gonna do is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is a new favorite. I read this in I think like August of last year, so fairly recent. I'm gonna try and find like a somewhat shorter review, but all these people seem like they have a lot to say. They have a lot to not like about this book, I guess. The most boring person on earth is recruited into a masochistic secret society of librarians. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that the main character is not boring. I think he's a little bit boring, but I wouldn't say that it's a masochistic secret society of librarians. I think that's a little much. DNF at 203, you're not my real mom, you can't make me read this. No, I'm not your mom, I can't make you read this. I was miserable every moment reading this, and the only reason I even finished it is that I loved her first novel so much that I was kind of in a state of shock the whole time thinking this can't be that bad. It has to get better. It wasn't bad, though, so I don't really know what book you were reading. It probably wasn't this one, though. You probably read, like, some weird bootleg version off the internet. Don't know what you were reading, but it definitely wasn't the same book that I read, so. This is really mean, but Erin Morgenstern just doesn't know how to write a book. I don't either. I've never written a book, so I applaud her on having written 2. Okay, Allie. Anyways. I did not enjoy this at all. Pretentious, confusing, and jumping through time to make no sense whatsoever. I feel like I wasted a reading week. I will admit that it's a little bit pretentious and definitely confusing, but like, that's what makes it fun! Not the pretentious part. I mean, I don't think it was that pretentious, honestly, but the confusing part, like, it's like a puzzle! Find the pieces, you read the parts and you put them together. Katie. I mean, honestly though, a lot of people did find this book really confusing, and I 100% understand why, so that's a valid opinion. I mean, all these opinions are valid. They're their own opinions, but you get what I mean. An opinion that I personally can't agree with. I tried but failed. It started off well, but just began to drag, and I lost interest in all the characters and just stopped wanting to pick it up. That sucks, Kelly. I'm sorry. This writing style... Excuse me? This writing style is just not for me. I prefer gateway drugs for my flowery streams of consciousness. Alright, you know what? I think that's fine. We've exhausted the Starless Sea at this point. Let's move on. Interview with the Vampire. I already know. I know what half of these reviews are gonna say. If I'm surprised by any of these reviews, I will be, I don't know. I don't think I'll be surprised by anything here. I thought it was slow, difficult to read. I finished it only by sheer determination, not out of pleasure. Okay. Thank you. Gay, but not gay enough. Alright. Way more boring than Twilight. Fight me. Okay, Interview with the Vampire and Twilight are very, very different books. So if you were going to Interview with the Vampire expecting something similar to Twilight, No. Just don't go into Interview with the Vampire expecting something like Twilight. You will be very disappointed. I mean, everybody's just saying it was boring. Like, okay. Yeah. I guess. Actually, no stars. I liked this book not at all. Picked it up to read about New Orleans before our trip, but it was just so gross. So gross. We saw one of Anne Rice's homes in the Garden District. Yay! But I hated what I read of her book. Boo! If I need a good vampire book, I'll read Dracula. Okay, I would like to just say something really quick. If you wanted a book to read about New Orleans and like learn about New Orleans before your trip to New Orleans, why is a vampire book based in New Orleans the book that you choose? Like, I get it, like it takes place in New Orleans, but like it's not really about New Orleans, so it's about the vampires. Whatever. Okay. At least she recognizes Dracula for being a good vampire book. The writing was very rambling and felt full of itself. It was pretty much all telling, no showing. I don't know why I stuck with this book. I guess I hoped it would get better, but if anything, it just got worse. As the protagonist says at the end of his story, nothing really happened! Woo! Okay, anyways. Wow. Who knew vampires had so much in common with melodramatic teenagers? My god. The sighing and whining of the immortal, needless to say, did not enjoy. Well, if you feel like exploring the vampire genre any more than you have, you're in for some disappointments here, because there's a lot of sighing and whining from the immortal, so maybe vampires are just not for you. Woo! Oh, this is cracking me up. This is so funny. Somehow, I think this might be worse than Dracula. I think you're right, Nicole. I think you're right. OMG, that was so bad. Straight to the point. Love it. Thank you. I'm tempted to give this book 2 stars because the writing was beautiful, but I despised everything else about it. So it's getting 1. Awesome. That's great. I'm honestly so disappointed. This was so boring. At no point did it grab my attention or make me want to continue. Okay, Megan, here's the thing. For all the people saying that it was boring, I get it. Literally 100%, I get it so much. The first time I read this book, I'd say almost for the first half, I was really bored too. And then when I finished it, I was like, I'm not bored anymore, obviously. It's one of my favorite books. But the second time I read it, this past year, I think I realized why I thought it was so boring. It doesn't have chapters. At least for me, that made it a little bit harder to like get through it. It kind of felt like I was dragging my feet through the mud because there's no chapters. And it's like, that's such a small thing that people usually overlook with books. Chapters kind of help you read the book. You know that what you're reading is going to come to an end and you're going to enter like a new part of the story. But in Interview with the Vampire and The Vampire Lestat, the second one, don't have chapters. So it makes this like dense story even more dense to read and like more like, oh my fucking god, like can we get somewhere? Yeah, it doesn't. It just keeps going and going and going because there's no chapters. Okay, I'll do one more because these are just too funny and I'm having a great time. This was just never-ending complaining about how hard it is to be a rich vampire with regrets. Yeah, I guess. My primary reason for reading this was to be familiar enough with the series and its characters so I could read the spin-offs. It was a struggle to get through at best, and I really regret wasting my time on this. I don't know why why this person would want to read the spin-offs if they hadn't even read this one. Well, I mean, I had an interest in reading Six of Crows, so I read Shadow and Bone. But I didn't care for Shadow and Bone, so I will not be reading Six of Crows. So I guess that's kind of this person's experience. I feel you, Liz. I feel you. Alright, let's move on. Emma by Jane Austen. I don't know how anyone could have anything negative to say about this book, but I know that someone does. So I just know that these reviews are going to be so fucking long. Oh, here we go. Emma is an immature, spoiled girl who needs to get a life. I guess. Remained boring AF. How are you bored? I don't understand. This book is so not boring. At least to me. I don't think it's boring at all. I tried so hard to enjoy this book. It honestly was a drag, long-winded, and utterly boring. Where's it utterly boring? Please tell me. I know I'm in the minority, as most seem to appreciate the story. However, as much as I tried, I couldn't appreciate a single sentence. I find Emma distinctly unlikable. Well, Linda, I don't agree with you. So, I don't know. Fam, Ain't going to lie, I didn't even get past page 1, but I've watched half of the 1996 Emma movie on Netflix, so I've basically read it. Fight me, Mr. Garcia. No. Okay, right. Deep breath. I hated this. Thank you, Matthew. Having read Pride and Prejudice and having loved it, I can only say that I'm most disappointed by this book. Anyway, I couldn't even finish it. I read about 100 pages and not once did I find something about it that's intriguing, and what's more, the story is not only bland, but also empty. What? Okay, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Everybody has their own opinion, including this person. DNF. I'm sorry. It just got way too boring. Pride and Prejudice is much better than this. I lost my reading motivation so that I must stop reading it. Okay, here's the thing. I personally like Pride and Prejudice a lot more than Emma. I meant to say that I like Emma a lot more than Pride and Prejudice. So, yes. Anyways. And I don't know if that's just because Emma's the first Jane Austen novel I read, so it like holds a special place in my heart. That may be it. Definitely. I'm not going to say that it's not. And I've read Emma twice. So I've only read Pride and Prejudice once. Maybe I'm due for a reread. I don't know. Maybe my opinion will change. But I think Emma is just so much more exciting than Pride and Prejudice. I think Pride and Prejudice is great, of course. Don't get me wrong. I just personally think Emma is so much more fun. That's it. Ick. And by ick, I mean snatching out my earbuds and throwing them across the room because I can't listen to any more of this ick. Alright. That's awesome. Don't then. Please read something that you enjoy. OMG, this was so bad. Straight to the point. I love it. I love when people are just straight to the point. Alright, let's go. Last one, the final one. I am not ready for this. Let's go. Little Women. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. No, what? No, what? I'm just saying that there's even 1-star reviews. Like, of course there are. I hate this book. I hate this book. This book is insipid. This book makes me feel like I need a trip to the dentist after merely looking at the cover. There's a lot of different covers, so I don't know. It's fine. I hate this book. Thank you. I got it. You said it. It crushed me. You stabbed me right in the chest, and you did it again, Susie. I hate Jo. Just straight up, I hate her. And her supposed tomboyishness, and the fact that she is the most flat and dull and stupid character I've ever come across. Jo pisses me off too, okay? But I don't hate her. I hate Amy, because she's a vapid idiot who contributes nothing to the story. Susie, oh my god. I hate Meg, even though I don't remember anything about her. I hate Bev more than them all combined because she is so holy and meek and perfect. This has spoilers. So I will be cutting out that spoiler right there. That was very passionate. There are no actual Little Women in this book. All regular-sized women. Title is misleading. 0 out of 10 would not read again. So boring. My life on this earth is far too short to be spent pretending to care about even one sentence in this book. Well, Lil Rat Boy, luckily you don't have to. I'm finding a very common thing. A lot of people are saying that they think it's too preachy. I do think this book is preachy, but also it's like, it is technically a children's book, so maybe that's why, but I don't know. Personally, the preachiness doesn't bother me, so. But I can definitely understand where it would bother a lot of other people. Apparently, it's just me, but I really hate this book. Oh, it's not just you. According to all these other 1-star reviews, it's not just you. It was purely my love for Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan, and Timothée Chalamet that made me finally read this book. And even though it took me half a year and a lot of pain to get through it, now I can go see the movie and take hope in the fact that there have been many articles about how movie Amy isn't the absolute worst, like book Amy. I wanted to like Little Women, I really did, but God, that was painful. I wouldn't say it was painful, but that's fine. I will agree though that I think that this latest film adaptation, movie Amy, was a little bit more likable than book Amy. I will agree with that. I like book Amy though. I wouldn't say that she's the absolute worst. I still enjoyed her character, but I think that her character was a little bit more likable, I guess, in the movie. So, how can a book be that boring? That's it. That's my review. Are these reviews on like every book? Are there like 1,000 this book is so boring reviews on every book? Because like, they're on every book. These reviews are on every book that we've looked at today. So, I don't know. Maybe I just like boring fucking books. I don't know. Tedious, preachy, and overly saccharine. Hey, look. That's not necessarily bad. Maybe the tedious. Maybe that's bad. Saccharine, preachy, and evening the tragic moments. Evening? Ooh. Even, I'm assuming is what they meant to say. The tragic moments are uninteresting. Saccharine and preachy. That's just saccharine and preachy. An exhaustive, preachy, long-winded story of 4 women. I hated this book. Awesome. I had to put it down. It was like reading oatmeal. It's funny though because I can't disagree with her. But you know what? I like oatmeal. So, preachy and boring. Preachiness, preachy. Alright, I'm done now. This was an enlightening experience. Definitely enlightening. The amount of people that think Little Women is preachy and saccharine and hate it for those reasons is so funny to me because they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I just don't hate it for those reasons. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed my time making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time.